purging is at last at hand. The day of doom is here. All that is evil, all that are lies, your parents, your leaders, those who would call themselves your judges, those who have lied and corrupted the earth, they shall all be cleansed.
Okay. All right. We got Sir Al-Muhtasim. We've got Sir Kenaz. Okay, perfect. Let's make Sir Kenaz co-host, and we can begin in a hurry. How are we doing, dear listeners?
$10. Not sure what time it is where Al-Muhtasim is, but welcome.
I mean, he's in Chile, so probably early morning. Yeah, but Sandbox is in the afternoon. But no, good Sir Kenaz. I mean, you asked in the Telegram chat, what is our subject for today? Quote, why Trump is an idiot and why the global economy is about to... We'll get there. But before we get there, Sir Kenaz, please do an objective analysis of the Mark Carney Davos speech.
The Mark Carney Davos speech. We're going to double the size of our army. Okay, that means that your army will now be, I think it was something like, we're now going to, instead of no destroyers, we're going to have 2 destroyers.
There we go. You could buy it from someone.
Yeah. I think Canada used to have a really good army. In World War II, the Canadian troops were great, but Canada runs into the problem that they have a fairly small population and they don't have the arable land to grow it much.
Yeah,
to grow that population much. I mean, there are a population, I think, about 40 to 50 million people.
Mm-hmm.
You'd probably know better. You spent some time up north in the Great White North. But that's just
yeah.
The big thing Canada's got going for it is Canada has an awful lot of land. Canada gets very cold. A land war with Canada would be like a land war with Russia.
Yeah. I mean, Carney's talking about all this stuff about we're gonna increase the destroyers and like that stuff. I view as secondary, tertiary stuff. The real thing I want to focus on is the first half of the speech, where he just tells everyone in the audience and I guess worldwide, "Hey guys, you know the rules-based international system? Yeah, it's dead and it's not coming back. And before I say that, I'll spend about 30 seconds to 1 minute." Comparing America to the former Soviet Union.
Well, I mean, okay, the thing with I saw that the thing is I can't really disagree with what he's saying. It's the only thing I would disagree with. It's like a mild disagreement is, there never was a rules-based international order, and he kind of alluded to that in the speech.
That's exactly what he said. He basically said, yeah, that's exactly what he said. He's like, oh yeah, we pretended to think that this thing actually exists. Meanwhile, bigger countries were actually taking advantage of smaller countries, but we kind of went along with it because America gave us all these. Let me actually hang on a second. I got the speech in front of me. So I wanted to go over this speech because it's relevant to what we're going to talk about, right? And it's relevant to the overall wider thing with regard to decline and whatever. Yeah, okay, so here it is. For decades, countries like Canada prospered under what we call the rules-based international order. We joined its institutions, we praised its principles, we benefited from its predictability. And because of that, we could pursue values-based foreign policies under its protection. I don't know what that means, but whatever. Okay. We knew the story of the international rules-based order was partially false, that the strongest would exempt themselves when convenient. Oh, you think so? Okay. That trade rules were enforced asymmetrically, and we knew that international law applied with varied rigor, depending on the identity of the accused or the victim. This fiction was useful, and American hegemony in particular helped provide public goods, open sea lanes, a stable financial system, collective security, and support for frameworks for resolving disputes. So we placed the sign in the window. We participated in the rituals, and we largely avoided calling out the gaps between rhetoric and reality. This bargain no longer works. Let me be direct with all of you. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. He's just saying it's gonna fucking collapse. He's gonna say it's fucking collapse.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the thing he's kind of missing is, yes, America reaped benefits from it, but what happened was America essentially took over the role of world policeman and did a lot of that stuff on its own dime.
Basically, yeah. Basically.
And that's, America can no longer do that. So now you have to start figuring out, well, what do we do in a world where the world's policeman just retired?
I mean, retirement, more like he fucking fell over and died. But
well, yeah, I mean, I'm being euphemistic here. I mean, it is like, the world policeman
isn't it crazy though, Sir Kinas?
Like,
yeah, but isn't it crazy? Like the fucking Prime Minister of Canada, one of America's most loyal post-World War II vassals, he's up there with regard to like the United Kingdom and fucking Japan, and he's just fucking saying, yeah, man, it's just gonna collapse.
No, I mean, I think at this point, most people are aware that, the fan is still running and there's like a large pile of feces headed toward it. That's just like, we all know this.
Yeah. Oh dear. What else did he say in this speech? Let me read this speech. It's an interesting speech. Yeah. The multilateral institutions on which the middle powers of the world have relied, the WTO, the UN, the COP, the very architecture of collective problem solving are under threat. Yeah, you think so? Okay. As a result, many countries are drawing the same conclusions that they must develop greater strategic autonomy in energy, food, critical minerals, in finance and supply chains. And this impulse is understandable. Yeah, he's basically saying
that one world government, one world government is not like under threat. It's under 6 feet of dirt, and like the priest is saying prayers over it.
That's basically what it is. Yeah,
that is like that whole idea that we were like the sole superpower is no longer feasible. The one world government, and I think it's what's important. He's saying this at Davos.
Yeah.
The home of like the whole, how many years has the annual Davos meeting been like fantasies about the new one world order?
Yeah.
This is kind of like okay guys, party's over.
Yeah, I'm taking the punch bowl away. That's basically what Carney said. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is like everybody, and I give Carney credit for admitting this. Everybody was happy to deal with the free trade, the like global supply lines and everything, as long as America was paying for it. The problem with this is when you, as America is learning right now, when you outsource something important to a foreign power, you ultimately lose the ability to do that. We did it with our manufacturing center. We can't have manufacturing. Yeah, manufacturing jobs pay well, but we can't afford to do it when China can do it so much cheaper. Yeah, well, we could have a strong army and navy and a strong defense system that would protect us against problems should they arise. But, it's much cheaper and easier to let America do it.
Yeah.
And that's now Europe is finding out, Canada's finding out, there really is no substitute for having your stuff on shore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, at this point, the world is going to be fragmented. Like you said, it's a rupture. It's not a transition. And in terms of like multilateral problem solving, I mean, at the end, he basically just said that, look, middle powers of the world need to form coalitions to balance out the great powers, which is kind of like the common sense thing to do, right? Because, if you're dealing with a one-on-one scenario, right? Like, let's say China is dealing in a one-on-one fashion with Bangladesh or Pakistan or whoever, right? it's better for those countries to band together so that when they're at the negotiating table, they have a greater say in things, right? So, good to see that Monsieur Carney has figured out what us in the so-called global South have been saying for ages, right? But that's kind of what this is. I mean, I think this speech is a game changer simply because now you literally have, you know, the most loyal American vassal outright comparing America to the Soviet Union. I mean, all the illusions are there. I mean, Trump is pissed off. I don't know if you saw the news circuit as he's just like, yeah, if the trade deal with China goes through Canada, we're gonna slap you with 100% tariff or whatever. I mean, I don't even think like what the Supreme Court will probably strike it down within the next few days or weeks. I don't even think this is gonna matter.
Let's see what happens if they strike tariffs down, which that can go either way. If they don't tariffs down, Trump is going to continue like I don't even like instead of saber rattling, he's now tariff rattling. That's what we're reduced to at this point. It's not like, well, the American government can come and take, the American military can come and take care of you. It's like, well, we'll close our markets off. I mean, it's the same kind of belligerence. It's just I note that, okay, he's making noises about invading Iran. At best, we're going to have another kayfabe thing like we did with when they bombed the nuclear plants using bombs that, had no chance of knocking down the underground layers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have something like that.
Yeah.
In response, you're going to get another 12-day war between Israel and Iran. Israel's going to hit a few targets. Iran is going to basically trash a few more cities. Then everything returns back to normal because Israel doesn't want to I'm not sure Israel really wants to drop a nuke on Iran, considering that, I believe they now have an alliance with Pakistan.
Yeah.
So it's like if you drop a nuke on them, there's a non-trivial chance we'll drop a nuke on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of that was always the real point of having nukes. It wasn't we're going to use them. It's that if you come at us, we might use them. And at this point, there's now a Middle East. The Middle East now has a nuclear umbrella.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. It's like, we don't want to fire this at you, but be advised we can and, make your plans accordingly.
China, so it's going to be Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. They're finalizing the deal with the Triple Alliance. It's a balancing coalition against Israel. That's number one. Number two, it's a coalition which exists to make sure that America doesn't try anything funny with Iran. So they're just flat out. I mean, the Turks. I don't know if you were following the updates, the news updates, Sirkinaz, but the Turks. I think it was yesterday or the day before. They installed some of the high-tech radar systems that they have close to the Syrian border. So these things have very, very good range. So now if the Israelis try to fly over Syrian airspace, they will be unable to because the Turks will pick them up, right? So they're taking away that corridor, which they kind of used, the Israelis used during the 12-day war, where they flew over Syrian and Iraqi airspace to fire off their cruise missiles, right? But in general, it's not really going to be business as usual because Israel is getting weaker and weaker, right? You have the Kurds, the SDF, they're getting overrun as we speak by the Syrian army, right? And okay, so they might last a few more days and weeks, whatever, right? But the American advisors, quote unquote, that were embedded in Syrian Kurdistan, they're probably going to get evacuated. After that, okay, what happens to Al-Tanf, right? Al-Tanf, which is on the Syrian, Jordanian, or whatever border, right? Well, they probably have to be evacuated as well, right? And then meanwhile, Ain al-Assad, which was the big Iraqi base that was already evacuated like 3 or 4 days ago. We have confirmation of this now. The only American installations left are some of the smaller and medium-sized stuff in Iraqi Kurdistan. So, like, America's getting run out the neighborhood like a rabid dog. That's basically what's happening, right? And at this point, it's like, okay, well, KFAB attacked, but you only got the one carrier instead of the four. And oh, by the way, Iran, please don't fire your missiles or whatever. Like, even if Iran does the lazy thing that they did during the 12-day war, which is like, okay, 5 or 6 missiles every 4 hours. Like, Sir Kenneth, they don't even have the firepower or the interception for that right now, right?
Oh, we have something here that might make things interesting. I just got a message on our chat from Almotacine. Barry with the NED with the Ned says
ICE just killed.
Killed okay. Oh, that's okay. With the death toll's only going to keep going up as these protests continue, which means as the death tolls go up, the protests are going to start going up. At some point, you're going to start seeing protesters coming in with like armed protesters exchanging, not just like throwing rocks at them and then getting hit with gunfire. You're going to start seeing protesters exchanging gunfire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And this, by the way, is directly linked to what I was just speaking about 2 minutes ago, which is like, okay, well, Trump now has to get a win. He has to get a win because, like, okay, well, domestically, the society is crumbling. In Davos, Mark Carney basically knifed him from the back. Actually, knifed him from the front, actually. His face.
He didn't,
Yeah, he just like Canadian politeness. He basically, like, this is why, Sir Kenneth, the Canadians burnt down the White House in the 1812 war. Canada is the true original enemy, right? Here it comes again, right? But like, okay, so at Davos, Trump gets humiliated. Domestically, the thing is getting the situation is fucked, right? I mean, JD Vance did this fucking scumbag. He's like, oh, the thing that happened with that lady that got shot in the face. Oh, that was a terrible thing. That was a terrible thing. Meanwhile, like 2 weeks ago, he was saying, oh, she's a fucking terrorist, right? So they're changing their tune. What else is happening, right? Like I said, America's getting kicked out of Syria, Iraq, all these other places. So Sir Kenneth, he needs a win. What is the win? Well, for like, I guess 24 hours, Maduro was a win, but now that's away from the imagination and the collective psyche. And so now it's like, okay, well, what other psychodrama can we do for the Goyim, right? And so it's like, okay, well, let's do the Greenland thing. And we can't do the Greenland thing because it might collapse the alliance. And they're going to sell the bonds. And then, NATO would be paralyzed and we would get attacked all over the world. Oh, so we can't do that shit. Oh, I guess we have to fight Iran. So that's kind of what the decision-making matrix is. With regard
no, you're absolutely right. He is the kayfabe president. He's he's essentially a wrestling heel manager who's like, okay, what's the story going to be this week? It's like, are we going to send the Undertaker to put a pile driver on the Khomeini? Are we going to do what crazy stupid thing can we do that'll keep the base rallied? I mean, keep in mind, a lot of people have really mixed to negative feelings. I'd say the majority of Americans have about Renee Good.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is Trump's loyal base of supporters.
Yeah.
He's making the same mistake the Democrats made.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats decided that the loudest people shrieking on Twitter about, microaggressions and trans rights and whatever were representative of their base.
Yeah.
Trump and the Republicans are making the mistake of assuming that like MAGA-tards are their base, and if we keep them happy, we're going to win elections forever.
Well, the coalition is broken, though.
Script.
Yeah, exactly. But the fucking, like, all the Latinos, all the Gen Z, whatever the fuck, all of that's broken. Like, the polling is showing over and over again that not only have they reversed, but the numbers are worse than they were in, like, 2020, right? Trump is going back to, like...
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Anoff. Keep in mind the Democrats were getting statistical warnings for years that, okay, this is not working. You are starting to get pushback on these different episodes. You need to dial it back.
Yeah.
And they didn't listen because, they just went on their merry way. I mean, it amazes me that you guys are supposed to be political experts. I mean, at best, Onoff and I are talented amateurs. Okay?
We just rant and
You're
rave.
supposed to be,
All we do, our job is to rant and rave.
doomers.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't figure out, okay, my opposition did X. It resulted in them losing the White House, the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
You know what I think we should do now? X. I mean, it is like, it's the same damn playbook. None of you are smart enough to look at, okay, this happened when our opponents did it. Maybe we shouldn't do it. To his credit, I see Vance trying to do it. Vance is playing under the assumption he will be the Republican presidential candidate in 2028.
He's trying to change his tune, but the problem is that, like, you're absolutely correct, Sir Kenneth. He's trying to change his tune, but the problem is he was interviewed 1 or 2 weeks ago, and he called the woman a terrorist, right? So it's like, I'm sorry, bros, but like, unless you're dealing with the goldfish brain people, which there is a lot of, right? Those people will believe you, but everyone else is like, okay, dude, but 2 weeks ago you said this other thing.
Okay, yeah, no, okay, that's the whole thing. It's not everybody else when you're dealing with Americans.
Oh, yeah.
You would be really surprised at how short the attention span is for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, people will say, like, people saying, all right, this is, yeah, well, she was a terrorist. She deserved to get shot. Then, okay, well, this was a terrible mistake. I mean, my personal feeling is this was a situation there were mistakes made on both sides. She shouldn't have gotten shot. She also shouldn't have gunned her car to try to get away when police officers are yelling, stop.
Mm-hmm.
If either of those, it was basically a tense situation. And I'd also add, the problem is you don't have protests with people screaming obscenities, throwing things, abusing police officers. That puts everybody's nerves on edge, and you might not want people's nerves on edge when they have guns.
Well, I mean, that's where things are headed, though, right? So it's kind of like,
oh yeah,
now it's a
if we got a second
killer,
if we got a second killing, I am going to go to Barry with the Ned and see.
Check
watch.
that, please,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the picture. They're trying to take somebody down. Okay, I should say 850 views. 4 people have bookmarked it.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them looks like an officer is pistol whipping him around 08 who fired the first shots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to expand this.
The gold-silver ratio right now is 48.27. The last time it was this low, let me see. When was it this low? Not there. 2014, no. Wow, okay. Wow, all right. Sir Kenneth.
Oh, shit. Okay, 5 guys were holding this. 4 ICE agents were holding this guy. It appears he reached for a gun and they shot him.
Mm-hmm.
This looks worse than like the Renee Good thing. Yeah, if this is if this is a real thing, if it was, I only say this because it can be hard to tell. If this was not AI generated, if this is not footage from something that happened a year ago,
mm-hmm.
it looks bad. It looks really bad. I mean, that's the best I could say. It doesn't look good. There were several police officers around trying to wrestle him down. Yeah, as they say, it looks like an officer is pistol whipping him around 8% at 8 seconds. Let me say.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Sir Kenneth,
Yeah.
by the way, as you're looking at that, gold and silver ratio 48.27. The last time it was this low was like in 2011, where there was like a mini crash around the world, right? And in terms of like the 2007 2008 crash, yeah, 47 48. It was kind of hovering around this number. So buckle up, boys and girls.
Yeah. This is going to be, Vance is more damaged goods than Kamala. Okay, Vance being connected to Trump is not going to help his chances for winning the election.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of an understatement. I will say he's more charismatic and more literate than Kamala. Mm-hmm. And he does have one thing going for him. If the Democrats go with the same pattern they've used for the past 12 years, they're going to run an absolute crap ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Newsom, I think, is working very hard to get on the spot, Mm-hmm. He may be the presidential candidate. I don't think people understand he's not really well liked outside of California, and he's absolutely hated in the red states. What I mean there is you get the problem. A lot of people will either stay home or hold their nose and vote for Vance rather than vote for Newsom.
The thing is, right, we're not going to see a normal election. We're probably going to see an election that more resembles the Bangladesh election that we're going to see like a month from now, right? So it's like, this guy or that guy won't vote. I mean, that's fine, right? But there's probably going to be random violence on the streets before the voting begins or whatever, right? Especially if this is the trajectory of things, right?
Almotism added some rather interesting stuff to this. He pointed out that J.D. Vance is also an insufferable fatso who doesn't have a single interesting idea or even a single idea of his own. Kamala at least had some coconut theories. I mean, okay, I will give Kamala credit where credit is due. When I listened to her with her concession speech, it was probably the best and most coherent speech I ever saw her make. If she had been able to speak that well during the election, if they hadn't decided to go on like Coconut Joy Brat Summer as their theme, if she'd hired like an electoral office that didn't think, well, the way we're going to win the White House is we're going to have Beyonce talk for a minute and give her like hundreds of millions of dollars for doing it, things might have gone differently. I will say with Vance, I remember saying I chose not to vote in the 2024 election because I was like, you're asking me to say that either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump are competent enough to run the Oval Office.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, I won't lie for you. I'm not going to choose giant douche over turd sandwich or vice versa. Give me a decent candidate. If Vance had been the presidential candidate and Trump the VP, I might have been able to vote for Vance on just simply because he's more intelligent than Trump or Harris. Mm-hmm. Which is not really, that's damning with faint praise. I mean, he was the smartest guy in the room. It's like, I feel like Vance is less of a total drooling moron than Biden was and than Trump is. I mean, it's like, he wouldn't be my first choice. He probably wouldn't be my 9th through 10th choice, but, I might have been able to say, okay, you're not ideal, but there's no ideal candidate, and you're not Kamala Harris. But it's like I couldn't even do that because I'm like, the same thing with Trump versus Hillary Clinton. If Bernie Sanders had been the candidate in 2016, the Dems would have won, but their donor base couldn't have that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what we got was, we're going to run Hillary like it's her turn. I'm entitled to the office. Hillary ran one of the worst campaigns in living memory. That's why she lost, not because the Russians screwed with the ballot boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she ran because, I think Hillary's a very bright lady. I think, Hillary could be a very competent cabinet member, even make her a judge. She could be competent at that. Yes, she's corrupt as sin. So are most of the people in the White House. I don't, I'm sure most Bangladeshis are aware that whoever they're voting for is going to line their pocket.
Tariq Rahman, who's like the chairperson of the BNP, he's expected to win the prime ministership. But he used to have a vacation home in Bogra. It was called Hawa Bhavan, right? And it was called Hawa basically means like wind, and it's like the reason it was called Hawa Bhavan, or like wind house, was because like if you showed up there, Tariq Rahman would dump like a couple crore taka at your feet, and then you would basically do his bidding. He's a corrupt as fuck guy, right? But basically, yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a certain amount of political corruption. I mean, politics breeds corruption. Electoral democracy does not stop corrupt politicians from getting elected. That's just, it is what it is. But I mean, Hillary, just when you've got a reputation for suiciding people, you're going to have an uphill battle winning the presidency. And it's also, Hillary doesn't really have a lot of charisma.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you put her in a back office, you put her at, you get her in the government somehow. I mean, I will say right now, if we were if we are at the verge of a nuclear exchange with Russia or China, I would rather have Hillary Clinton in the office than Donald Trump. Because I think she'd be less likely to fire missiles off in a suicidal burst of rage. It's just like, at this point, this idiot has his hands on the nuclear football.
I mean, I don't think it, I don't think there's going to be any war though with Russia or China. Even if Trump one day wakes up and he's like, yeah, let's nuke them or whatever, right? First strike or whatever. Because like, I think even the generals and even his inner circle are just like, yeah, the emperor's got no clothes, and we as the eunuchs, man, we just gotta scrape whatever's on the fucking walls and just make a run for it, right? Like the whole Venezuela thing, right? And I'm looking at the Venezuela thing more and more. Like, okay, so they kidnap Maduro, they take him to New York State, they're probably gonna get him on like some gun charges or whatever, right? Okay, so what does that achieve? It doesn't achieve anything, right? Like the government is still intact. Random American tourists are being hunted down by like these gangs. So what was actually achieved? And what I found out was fascinating. It's like, okay, so Trump gets like a quote unquote deal for like a small portion of the Venezuelan oil, which is probably not even gonna be followed through by the current government, the incumbent, right? But like he's got like this slush fund in Qatar, right? And those guys will make some money and what have you. And I guess you have these other instruments, whether it's like Poly Market, Kalshi, and these like betting markets where like people dump a bit of money. They're like, oh, will Maduro be out before March or whatever, right? And then somebody dumps a shit ton of money and he makes up a shit ton of money, right? And it's like that seems to be what's going on here. It's gambling. It's like fucking, slush fund. It's money laundering, etc. Like basically, America is becoming big Bangladesh, right? That's basically what this looks like, right? Well, the whole Venezuela thing. I mean, the Greenland thing was more like, okay, well, let me implode the alliance for no particular reason, and there's no fucking plan and whatever, right? And now, in terms of the Davos thing, yeah, I mean, Carney basically just like beat the shit out of Trump with regard to that speech, and now Trump has gone nuts. And he might want to fire something, Sirkinaz, at the Iranians, but Trump better pick up the phone and actually ask for a KFAB retaliation from the Iranians. Otherwise, if he doesn't do that, right, the bases are going to get blown to bits, right? They're going to get blown to bits, and they'll be yeeted off the tarmac, right? Uh, we know this, by the way, because these MRBMs and SRBMs, right? Many analogs of these systems are being used by the Russians against the Ukrainians, right? So we know what damage they do and how many people they can kill. So, I mean, if the Americans want to deal with that, sure, go ahead, right? Uh, it's not a country that can absorb casualties, right? The casualties, even if the casualties are in the low couple dozens or a few hundred, right? That would be like economic, political, social suicide. But yeah, let me see what this guy is saying. Mojave Art Club. Oh, it's a big one. Okay, let me read this comment. In the West, it is always 1995 plus N equals current year, as in it's always the mid-1990s. In fact, through reboots and edits of historical fiction and dramas, it's always been the mid-1990s, and via sci-fi recently, it's either the mid-1990s forevermore or the zombie-infested ruins of the mid-1990s. Look at works of fiction set in the past. The insistence on mid-1990s or mid-2000s ethnic diversity projected into pasts or simulated fictional pseudo-pasts really represents the deep manifestation that the mid-1990s, early 2000s urban progressive metro is a sort of eternal state of reality to some people. This has always been and will always be unburdened by historical causality and without needing to worry about a future, for this will always exist. Kamala Harris was speaking the primal truth of the American psyche. Quote, what can be unburdened by what has been, unquote. That is an apt description of the world America wants to exist and maintain. Even our imagined post-apocalyptic societies are just this time period, but with fungus, mold zombies, or regular undead zombies. The culture, demographics, and ideas, however, remain eternally unchanged. Sure, civilization has ended completely, but the social values and politics and who is the good guy and the bad guy remains as it was in this era of American hyper-dominance over the earth. The end of history is not real, but it's a psychic curse upon the West in which time has spiritually stopped happening, and it has remained a time period everlasting in our collective politics and psychic mindscapes. We are imprisoned by mental chains and bars that keep us forever locked in, dragging on, withering away, becoming increasingly aged in reality, but unwilling to truly leave this place. In practice, Tony Blair still rules the UK one way or another. Clintonism still basically rules America. Boomers were in power then and remain in power now. Russia, as it was in the 1990s, it has to be. We made entire military plans around fighting mid-1990s Russia. Russia is, as we were taught in the 70s, and even if you graduated high school in the 2000s, 2010s, or just now, you were basically told what a kid in the mid-1990s was told. China? Question mark. China is as it was in the 1990s too. Tiananmen Square is fresh, just happened, and totally happened as 1990s people said it did. what a comment, man. Holy shit. That was good. I'm going to share it to the spaces. That is good. Very good. Oh, man. America's cooked, Sirkinaz. It's a society that lives in the past. That's literally what this is.
That's, again, classic late stage empire. Yeah. Late stage Ottoman Empire, late stage Habsburg Empire, late stage Roman Empire. It's all, this is what happens. You have a bunch of people remembering, hey, we were great once, I'm sure there were campaigns to make the Roman Empire great again. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that, like, right up to the point when they basically, when the guy who captured this Roman emperor, like the last Roman emperor, Odoacer, decides, screw it, I'm not going to declare myself the emperor of Rome, because the Western Empire, because there is no Western Empire anymore.
Yeah, it's fucking irrelevant.
Right up to that point, there actually was a guy, Julius Nepos. He dies 4 years later because he figures, okay, he continues reporting back to the Eastern Roman Empire as the Western Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
He basically owned an area, he basically stayed in one city and ran, and pretended to run an empire and that he pretended to exist. I could totally see that, the 53rd president of the United States of America, and he at this point controls the Boswash corridor.
Mm-hmm.
And controls the Boswash corridor, most of which smiles and nods when he says anything, but don't really take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much where we're going to go to at this point. It doesn't get, I don't see things improving from here. I don't, I'm always, there could be some miraculous turnaround, some Hail Mary pass that lands, brings, we managed to get through this economic crisis. We managed to get through the numerous political crises. We managed to cool down everything, or what was it they said in Wayne's World? And monkeys might fly out my butt. I mean, I'd be looking for the monkeys before I'd be looking for this kind of turnaround.
Oh man. Oh dear. This is just like comedy gold. What's happening right now around the world? Jeez. America's getting kicked out like a dog from fucking, Middle East, West Asia, whatever you want to call it, and they still want to attack Iran. So fucking stupid. All right. Let's see what Drumpf actually said. Okay, let me see. Let me read this. Okay. All right, Sir Kenneth, get ready for this. Get ready for this.
Okay, let's hear Trump's words of wit and wisdom, half of each.
Half of each. All right. If Governor Carney thinks he's going to make Canada a, quote, drop-off port, unquote, for China to send goods and products into the United States, he is sorely mistaken. China will eat Canada alive, completely devour it, including the destruction of their businesses, social fabric, and general way of life. If Canada makes a deal with China, it will immediately be hit with a 100% tariff against all Canadian goods and products coming into the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald John Trump. He's doing it, Sir Kenaz. He's gonna implode the alliance. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
I expect him to. I mean, I've said for a while, pulling out of NATO, biting the bullet and getting this farce over with is not a horrible idea. It has to happen sometime. However, blowing our alliance with Canada is just what the? I mean, okay, kind of like you do a peaceful withdrawal, just like, sorry guys, we no longer have the money nor the manpower to defend Europe. You're going to have to pick up the tab here. You are going to have to build your own armies. You're going to have to build your own defense systems because we can't do it.
I mean,
that's just simply, I understand the consequences, but it's the consequences would be, what are the consequences if you do business as usual? The same, only worse.
Yeah. Sir Kenaz?
Okay.
Sir Kenaz,
what's going on with the Ukrainians and Russians? Abu Dhabi is trending.
Abu Dhabi is trending?
Yep, the Ukrainian, apparently, they are working to bring, they are hosting a series of trilateral talks bringing Russia, Ukraine, and the United States together. Okay, well, UAE to the... I mean...
Nothing's going to happen.
Probably not, but it's... Again, we can't afford... Russia can afford to keep throwing troops at Ukraine longer than we can afford to keep throwing weapons at Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's sort of like, okay, guys, you stop right now. You give up the Donbass region and, yeah, maybe there'll be another war a few years from now that'll give you at least a few years to rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
You don't stop this. It goes on another year or two, and Ukraine becomes part of Russia.
Yep. Yep.
That is how it ends, guys. The next thing they're going to ask for is Odessa. Or not even ask for, nice warm water port, ours now. That was another. We basically, came up with a strategy that, I personally feel is, ontologically evil. We're going to weaken Russia by fighting to the last Ukrainian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You murdered millions of people, died, so that, you could weaken Russia. And you failed to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you had succeeded in doing it, it would have been just as evil, but at least, it would have had a point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you knew what happened. Did you learn nothing from Vietnam?
America doesn't learn any. Sir Kenneth,
Yeah.
America cannot learn. That is the nature of being oh, if we just had enough fucking willpower, we could have done it, right? No, you fucking idiot. Vietnam was bombed more by an order of magnitude than Germany, Japan, and Italy combined. Vietnam was the maximum industrial capacity, might, whatever word you want to use, of America, which peaked in the late 1960s, early 1970s. That was the peak. Every other bombing campaign after Vietnam was less than that, with regard to kilograms of TNT per square meter per day. If you started doing the math for that, Vietnam was the highest, right? Everything else was less. Gulf War was less. Fucking 2003 Iraq shock and all was less. Afghanistan was less, right? America since late 1960s, early 1970s has been declining, right? It's just that you've got these other events which happened, which is oh yeah, the Soviet Union collapsed, we fucking won, right? It's two guys in an alleyway. The knife fight happens. One guy dies right there. The other guy's bleeding to death, right? And he'll die in the hospital. That's what America is, right? America's been bleeding for a long time.
3 minutes ago,
yeah,
you once again, Sir Aronoff, proves prophetic. Sorrow inimicorum. The Ukraine-Russia-U.S. negotiations in Abu Dhabi ended in ellipsis, nothing, just as expected.
It's just basic common sense. It's okay, well, if you're negotiating, what can you get at the negotiating table that you can't get on the battlefield, right? Well, I mean, the Russians can simply grind down the Ukrainians. They're not in a hurry, right? And the Ukrainians will keep getting ground down. And it's not like the Ukrainians have a trump card to play off. Yeah, man, if we play this trump card, Trump's gonna send 1 million Americans and they're gonna fucking kick your ass. Ukraine doesn't have any cards left to play. They're basically on their own, right? And the thing with the Europeans, right? And its leadership in Finland, Sweden, the UK, the thing that they're trying to figure out right now is who the fuck do we blame for this, right? Who the fuck do we blame for this, right? And Trump with the Greenland thing, what he's really done, Sir Kenneth, and I say, we've not seen the last of Greenland. Probably a few months from now, we're probably going to see it again. But Trump bringing up Greenland, I want to annex Greenland. This is the perfect excuse, right? Because again, you can't have it both ways, right? It can't be the case that, the Europeans are just a bunch of brain-dead daimios, and if the shogun, Donald John Trump, tells them, commit suicide, commit seppuku, right? And then, that's one option. And option two is, the Europeans are a bunch of craven cowards, they're a bunch of corrupt politicians, and they're a bunch of fucking idiots who are just opportunists and slimy wormtails who will run the moment the excuse exists to run, right? These two things are contradictory. You can't be one personality and be the other personality simultaneously, right? And
I would agree with the second, and with the caveat that I'd say the same about the American.
Yeah, basically. So it's so option one, option two. Okay, so if the Europeans are a bunch of craven cowards, corrupt as sin, as you said, all right, Trump is trying to annex Greenland. Oh my gosh, bro, it's America's fault, man. Like, why did we fucking lose in Ukraine? We fucking lost in Ukraine because the fucking Americans, man, they stabbed us in the back. That's what's gonna happen now. Like, that's literally what's gonna happen, right? Because we know these politicians, right? The fucking, like, prime minister of Finland or whatever the fuck, he's not gonna go, yes, Trump, my shogun, you want me to die on the sword, therefore we'll give you 2.1 million square kilometers, aka Greenland. Like that shit's not gonna happen. Because if they do that, right? Like, if they do that, Russia can just say, hey man, like, yeah, it's fucking 2.1 million square kilometers. Ukraine is 600,000, right? Why the fuck can't I have Ukraine, right? Why are you being such a bitch, right? Give me Ukraine, right? So that's what this is, right? I mean, Trump is just like, he is a hell of a sledgehammer because, like, he's just destroying everything and he's just like making everyone go death to America. Trump has made fucking Denmark 85% white European country with like social democrats or whatever the fuck who followed America into Afghanistan and all these other places, who literally gave them soldiers to die in these battles. Trump has made those guys go, yeah, death to America.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny. Oh my god. God. Holy shit. So fucking funny. Alright. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson says the Greenland crisis is hurting cooperation with America more than Trump realizes. He says he met many business leaders at Davos, and some are embarrassed right now to even be American. So I think this is very damaging. I mean, like, bro, listen, man, let me give you some advice. Okay, Ulf, buddy, bro, if you're listening to our ranting and raving, here's what you gotta do. All you gotta do is fucking dump those American treasuries, man. Like, let your actions do the talking, right? Oh, Americans feel no, buddy. You gotta hit them where it hurts. Hit them in the pocketbooks. All right, that's what Americans understand. Americans understand money, right? Dump their money and see if they give you a phone call. All right, that's what you do. All right, that's what it is, man. Oh my gosh, these guys. What is this guy? Ibrahim Majid. How America's decision to attack Iran would be funeral. Okay, so I'm gonna read that later on. Okay. But no, Sir Kenaz, I'm very skeptical. I still think this Iran thing is gonna be a nothing burger because it would actually be suicidal to do an attack when you have an order of magnitude less forces right now than you did in June. I'm still watching. It might still be the case that Israel initiates an attack and Iran fires back or whatever, right? But America entering the war, I don't see it. This is not, like you were saying on a Telegram group, this is like a token force. It's not big enough, basically, to do anything. So,
I mean, I don't. Again, I'm always hesitant to say that, like, nothing is going to happen in this situation because you'd have to be a complete idiot to think you could pull it off. Because, of course, we're ruled by a complete idiot.
And he has always exceeded expectations, Sirkinas. So you gotta remember
yeah,
that.
he is every time. It's just like he's been like the one thing I can usually count on is every time every time I've said Trump can't be stupid enough to do this, he does it. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
What will we do? Correlation economics, 19 hours ago. If the dollar index is starting to collapse. Okay, so 97.5. I mean, it's still kind of up there, but it's beginning to, yeah. If it drops to 70 or less, that's a 30% decline, and you will see $10,000 gold and $500 silver. Oh, that's great. That is wonderful. Sir Kenas, by the way, $500 silver per ounce, that means none of the AI people can buy the silver needed to build their fucking robots. Oh man, this is so funny. This is how America dies. Holy shit. It's so fucking funny. What is this crap? Oh my god. ADL. I don't care about the ADL. Trump, Canada. I don't care about that. Trump said he'd unleash the American economy in year one. Here's how he did. Lower food prices. Hasn't happened. Lower gas prices. Some progress. Well, I mean, some progress, but primarily because China is in deflation. That's why the gas prices are low. Lower energy prices. Hasn't happened. Revive the auto industry. Hasn't happened. Create manufacturing jobs. Hasn't happened. Raise the stock market. So far, so good. Cut the debt with some tariffs. Some progress. Lower the trade deficit. Some progress. I mean, pretty fruitful, but oh dear. Oh dear. What is this guy? Ed Coda. ICE is losing. We love our neighbors in Minnesota. I mean, there's protests in Minnesota. I mean, JD Vance and Trump are walking back their comments. They know that they can't handle it. They can't fucking. Oh, we're gonna annex Greenland, buddy. You can't even annex fucking Minnesota. Try and annex Minnesota. See what you can do. What is this? Breaking news. Iran vows to sink and humble USS Abraham Lincoln and its strike group with hypersonic strikes as U.S. Armada enters Iran's backyard. Iranian officials have issued stark warnings against the approaching USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group, claiming the capability to sink it using advanced hypersonic missiles if provoked. Senior officials, including from the IRGC, have warned that any U.S. aggression would trigger an all-out war, and that Iran has its finger on the trigger. They specifically boast of using hypersonic missiles such as variants of the Fatah 1 system to sink and humble the Abraham Lincoln and its escorts in Iran's backyard. Iran has long demonstrated anti-ship capabilities in exercises like the Great Prophet series, simulating swarm attacks and missile strikes on mock U.S. carriers. Sir Kenaz, don't worry. It's just a fucking autocratic regime. Obviously, they're just bluffing, and it's not going to happen.
Okay, I just saw. Okay, I've now seen a second report of this Minneapolis shooting. The guy appears to have had a gun. It is breaking down the same way it did last time. Half of Twitter is going, "Yay! Another illegal thug taken off the streets," and half of them are like, this poor innocent gentleman who was like going to buy flowers for his elderly mother, and then he was going to go to the children's library and read books, was like shot out of nowhere by ICE. I mean, he was struggling with officers. He reached for a gun. I mean, it's unfortunately a situation where the read on it is going to be based on your current political leanings.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to do anything to discourage the pro-ICE crowd, and it's going to pump up the anti-ICE crowd.
Yeah.
Nobody is like, the polarization will continue with the, predictable consequences.
Yes, sir. Oh, Potter. I think Potter has messaged me. Great analysis. Oh, thank you, Potter. Anyway, Sir Kenneth, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we are looking here at a very, we're looking at a situation where I have seriously wondered at times, are we dealing here with people who are we dealing with a situation where Trump decides, I am going to try to have federal agents take Minneapolis by force?
He should do it, Sir Kenneth. He should do it just for the lulz.
I mean, is this the precursor to we are in the middle of a world, we are in the middle of a civil war with traitors in our midst, and this is why we can't have elections? I mean, I would have said, a year or two ago, that sounds overblown. You need to get off Gab. Maybe you need to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
The current climate, sooner or later, somebody is going to cancel elections.
Yep.
You don't hold elections when the other side is ontologically evil. You don't hold elections if you're convinced that, like, the other side is going to bring tyranny, that the other side is going to start death camps. And right now, each side thinks the other is going to do just that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, democracy. It's funny. I said this in another forum. I remember saying this, and I immediately got bombarded with, like, yeah, but the left is worse. It's like, okay, no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
I am very specifically, for the sake of this argument, not taking a side. I'm stating that when you have polarization between two sides and everybody is insisting that if you're not on our side, you're a bad guy, the inevitable end of that is tyranny. The fact that you can't hear that and say, yeah, but, what about the maggots? What about, what about Epstein, Epstein Island and Trump, or Epstein Island and Clinton? What about, it's like, okay, if you can't hear that statement without immediately going to whataboutism, you're infected with the rage virus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this guy saying?
What is this guy saying? Hold
Pinball. Hang on a second. Pinball, good sir. Seem to that I remember, but as if nothing has changed. One thought is that the West in its decline. One thought I've been so pinball 9 hours ago. One thought I've been mulling over lately is that the West in its decline and disenchantment projects its nihilism outward simply to normalize it to itself. The ancients are read as if they were in on the cynical decisionism and power obsession and disbelief of our own decay. It's all one big self-gaslighting session to convince ourselves that we are not in late stages of decline. It's actually maturity at long last, after the foolish age of morality imposed by superstition. To the onlooker, all it does is manifest the severity of decline in delusion. We have convinced ourselves that the symptoms of cultural putrefaction are in truth virtues to be prized, now that we can recognize them as such, whereas before we were blinded. Meanwhile, the outside observer sees a madman proudly boasting of his sepsis and gangrene. God.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my God. It's so fucking funny, man. Holy shit, this guy's the best. Oh, pinball. When you're like a mutual with like Sir Malcolm, these are like the excellent takes that you have. Oh man. Oh God. Oh God. Oh man. All right, Sir Kenas, predictions. Is Trump gonna actually attack Iran?
I would say there's probably a greater than 50% chance of another theatrical airstrike.
So like another K-Fabi.
I expect kayfabe. I do not expect that we're going to have a full-scale invasion, simply because if we were, we wouldn't be pulling out of all the bases around the area.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people say, yeah, well, you're pulling out so you can make sure that this doesn't, make sure that those bases aren't attacked. It's like, yeah, but then where are the troops for the attack coming from?
Yeah, you have to be
we're going to do an airstrike.
Yeah,
I mean,
where are you taking off from, bro?
does airstrikes.
Yeah, where the fuck are you taking off
Sooner or
from?
later, you got to put boots on the ground.
Yeah. You need refuelers. The planes have to take off. The base has to do the supply and logistics. Like, warfare is not an easy thing, my friend, right? The equipment doesn't just fucking teleport out of thin air, right? So, like, I agree with you, Sir Kenneth. I think there might be a K-Fabi, but right now I'm leaning towards saying it's a nothing burger. Because, like, Ain al-Assad is gone. The Iraqis have taken over, right? Iraqis have taken over. Like, Syria has been overrun. Syria is about to be evacuated, right? Al-Tanf will probably be evacuated, right? Iraqi Kurdistan has a few small places left. That's not enough, right? So what do you have left? Okay, hey, enough. Don't worry, man. We'll take off from our Gulf bases or whatever the fuck, right, bro? The Gulf bases are literally right next door to Iran. Iran doesn't even have to use the bigger stuff. They can saturate you with the smaller stuff, right? And the drones can reach you in like what, 15, 20, 30 minutes, right? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Right? So I don't see a way out of this. I think Trump might still go for the KFOB because he's got nothing left. He's like a drowning man, right? But things are only gonna get worse. I mean, the Europeans do not trust him at all. They're just like, yeah, we gotta send more troops to Greenland. Um, we can't trust the Americans. And oh, by the way, all these other things, the intelligence sharing, the military stuff, we gotta lower it with the Americans. And in terms of funds, businesses, these guys, all of them are just like, yeah, let's divest as much as possible. Right. Just give me a second, Sir Kenneth. I just gotta deal with something. Please continue
Okie doke.
chatting away with.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Who we got to chat with? Nobody's. Come on, somebody's got to volunteer here to speak up.
All right,
I know we
I'll
got
move to Sim. I'll
no.
move to Sim speaker. There we go.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
I'll move to Sim. Yeah, this is just. Yeah, it is going to be a very interesting 2026 in the Chinese curse sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
We are definitely looking at
Mm-hmm.
we're definitely looking at a state of financial collapse. At the same time, we're looking at a state of social collapse. At the same time, we're looking at the collapse of a political order that is currently about 30 years old, 91,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
2001, 2000, yep, about 30 years old, 2001, 2011, about 40 years old. It was great while it lasted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're now seeing the collapse of multiple things, and it's like catabolic collapse. It's collapsing fast.
Oh, it's collapsing very fast. What do we do, Sir Kenneth? What do we do?
We record the doom.
We record the doom.
It's our job.
There we go. We record the doom. Perfect. All right. Let's see what Borzai has to say. I like this guy Borzai. He sometimes goes like, what do we have here? I love Trump for his non-stop humiliation of the right-wing influencers. What do we have here? Okay. Trump says the killing of Rene Good was a horrible thing and that ICE is going to make a mistake sometime. This is like yesterday. Okay. Oh, man. Ooh, 12 hours ago. Accelerationism is a fake and gay meme designed to create a false dichotomy. If a meme or idea exists to make voting Republicans seem extremely sane compared to a constructed alternative, that's how you know it's a meme with an ulterior purpose. I reject your premise wholesale. What's your plan then, quote unquote? Keep speaking the truth and undermining volunteer unpaid GOP operatives who keep saying dumb shit and lying all the time. Maybe if we conquer that, we can talk about what's... Oh, Borzai, you are a fucking gem, man. You are a fucking gem. Yeah, I don't like I don't buy this whole argument of like, Trump's gonna collapse America. That's wonderful because after Trump collapses America, my based right wing ethno state and feudal autocracy or whatever the fuck is gonna be born. I don't believe that. I think it's just like decline, fall, less population, deindustrialization, etc., etc., etc. Right? So, oh
Yeah,
dear, yeah. What is
no, it's
this? I'm just trying to load this up. Okay, I'll read it later. But no, people are beginning to opine in their various capacities with regard to how Trump and Vance are dialing back the Minnesota stuff. I don't think there's gonna be martial law or whatever the fuck so can I think he's just gonna fucking cuck, right? It looks like a big cuck right now, right? He's
it,
cucking on the domestic front. He's gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna fucking kill Iran, and then he's gonna be a nothing burger on that. It's gonna be a fake and gay collapse, right? Like, what's gonna happen, I think, is that the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan and the Westerners were laughing, oh my gosh, the Soviet Union's so incompetent. they're running away from Afghanistan, and they're running away from the Baltics. Like, buddy, that is fucking expert level of like cadence compared to how America's getting run out the Middle East like a fucking dog and running away from all these other things. That's gonna be what happens, man. Oh dear. Oh dear.
What's up, guys?
About
Hello,
the
good sir.
same. Hello, good sir.
Hello, good sir. What do you think about this whole shit show? Talk about Sir Kenneth for a while. I gotta take care of something in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I came up to cover for you. I don't have many news myself, but I'll try my best.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. No, we got like it's really interesting to watch this, and I do wonder how is this going to play out. What happens as America seems to be turning its attention towards becoming the main power in the Western Hemisphere. What do you think this will mean for South America?
In all honesty, I liquidated all my dollars last week. That's my opinion. This is true. I was churning the numbers, and in Chile, at least, since our money seems to be a little bit more pegged to copper prices rather than the dollar itself, even though it's a very dollarized economy in other senses, the dollar is in free fall here. So I don't know, man. Well, first off, I liquidated all of my dollars. That's which are
Yeah,
not
I would be investing
many,
in
but
silver and gold rather than dollars right now,
yeah,
particularly spot silver. But
yeah, and
yeah,
also I don't know how the future's looking because we in March we have the new government in Chile is gonna. They are this kind of MAGA style, a little bit more serious in appearance, but essentially it's a MAGA style, and all the base, the online supporters and such are all in the MAGA aesthetics, are all day retweeting bullshit from these kind of guys like Captive Dreamer style, you know. So we've got a sort of MAGA government coming on, and I don't know what's gonna happen with these kind of guys. If Trump loses the midterms, I don't know if you could maybe illuminate me on this. But I've been asking myself, like, what happens to the agencies and this sort of shit when the executive no longer has support of the rest of the government. What might our
gridlock,
future be here?
gridlock. You'll see things blocked up. They aren't. I don't see them getting the kind of sweep it would take to impeach the president. You need 2/3 of the government to go with him. That means that, like, let's say you got 52 Democrats, like, let's say they get a 52 or a 53 to 52-48 or 53-47 win in, like, the Senate. That means they would need to get 13 Republicans to cross the aisle. That's a really tall order.
Hmm.
That's, I think what will happen, I don't see them getting, they would need to get, you can start an impeachment with a majority in the House of Representatives. You have to convince 2/3 of the Senate that Trump deserves to be impeached.
How did they
Trump
go about it the last time? I don't remember the details.
That's exactly that's what
Oh,
happened. They got
okay.
him. They impeached him twice in the House
Yeah,
of Representatives. Both
Yeah, basically,
times they, the
yeah.
Senate refused to, like, the Senate couldn't get a 2/3 majority to remove him from office.
2/3 majority in the Senate would be like 67, which is an
Yeah.
enormous number. Right?
But maybe they start this process as they know it will fail, but they use it as a sort of disciplining method for the administration, right?
That's democratic kayfabe.
That's
That's
Yeah.
kayfabe.
democratic
That's kayfabe.
performance art. What they're
Yeah.
doing is like, we're impeaching Trump because we take we take your rights seriously.
It's all
Tyranny,
rubbish.
oppression,
It's all
yada,
fucking rubbish.
yada.
Yeah.
They know that nothing is going to happen from the get-go. They also know that in the next election cycle, they could say, you see how these people kept that traitor in office?
Mhm.
I mean, the problem is one of the advantages a monarchy or a dictatorship has is they can make hard decisions without having to worry about what a majority of the populace thinks. It's like, that sounds horrible, especially if you're an American, because we've been bred on that whole, like, the right to vote, the ballot box, yada, yada. But what you actually get in an electoral republic is you get people who, from the time it's a 2-year cycle with the House of Representatives, which means the day you get your start in the House of Representatives, you have to start thinking about the next election. So that means you have to be very careful about how you vote. You're going to vote to keep yourself in power sometimes rather than vote. Not even sometimes, all the time. Give it a choice between the vote we really need versus the vote like that will keep me in for the next election.
Yeah, this guy's actually barely passed any laws, right?
Yeah, that's why it's very hard to get laws passed. Then you get
it's the same. It's not the same culture of governance, and the democracy is not as old. But for the last few years, it's been the same here. Like nobody can get a law passed, or they pass laws that change something at the 0.00005%, and this thing takes like 2 years of deliberation, and so we're basically in gridlock anyway.
Yeah, no, that's and we have, like, with the Senate, it's 6 years, but again, you have to worry about getting primaried. So it's with the president, it's very hard to negotiate with the United States because your leader is going to be leading for somewhere between 4 and 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he will use the discombobulator on you. Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Discombobulator.
Oh, the
He's just making shit up, man.
Yeah.
Bro,
For
he's
readers who
making
hadn't
shit
heard
up, man.
this one yet, yeah, Trump claimed there's a discombobulator that can scramble like data stuff and
Yeah, sure you can.
cause them. It's a discombobulator. No, I think that's what's running between your ears, bro. It's not. No, there's I also saw the one where they said these, it sounded like they were claiming Maduro was taken by genetically modified super soldiers. And I'm just like, man, go talk to the Israelis. At least Mossad knows how to do propaganda. This is just fucking embarrassing, bro. This is Marvel Comics cape shit. And not even good Marvel Comics with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Like, Avengers Assemble kind of bad.
But, Venezuela completely dropped off the news. We barely know what's going on in there. I know the...
Bro. Like, we all know what actually happened, man.
No, we know what happened, but what's happening now, it's some things are still happening, even though it's not on the news. Delcy is not dumb at all. It's actually way smarter than Maduro, I think. She's moving some things. She's actually doing a little bit of the bidding of the Americans, but I think for Venezuelans' own benefit, it's interesting what she's up to.
The thing with Venezuela is that the only reason it happened was so that the Goyim and the Magatards and these like fucking golems for the Jews, they could get a shot of adrenaline in the arm. That's all it was, right? Like, oh, consequences, what's going to happen 6 months or 2 years later. We don't give a shit about that, man. That's literally the reason it happened, right?
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
why it's off the news, because the reason it's off the news is because Greenland happened, and then Davos happened, and now Trump's like, okay, well, now I got to start a war with Iran, and now I got to do all. It's all psychodrama, man. Like, okay, well, why are you attacking Greenland? Why not just like pick up the phone, call the Danes, and they'll give you basing access? It's all fucking psychodrama. It's an internal psychological state of the Americans, right? They want to show everyone that we still matter. We're still the sole superpower. We still got it. This old man hasn't lost his step in or whatever the fuck. That's what's going on, man. Like, that's what's going on. It's not, there's no fucking strategy. There's no fucking plan. Oh my gosh, Trump is a fool, but he's like a broken clock, right twice a day. Even that shit's not true.
You know,
Even that shit's not true.
this week I listened to Sir Americanets in the Philip Pilkington show. He was really good about these virtual wars and whatnot. And I was left thinking, maybe for the sake of our economy, maybe Chile could sell Trump some, let's say, 1 million penguins. We have plenty. And he could actually drop them in Greenland. Like, just do that. No, nothing else. And leave everyone confused. And it will be an interesting move.
Bro. Don't give him ideas, bro. Don't give him ideas. Oh, man.
No bots. They just drop penguins. They pay us good money for the penguins. We have a good last executive act for the government that's about to go. And it would be interesting to see it, make the meme real. Since the memes are actually governing everything right now, it would be interesting to have a few penguins in Greenland.
Oh, bro. Oh, man. Fucking penguins. No, I was away from Substack for a while. I put out a small piece the other day. Which the title of the piece is History Isn't Your Therapist. I decided to get back to writing again. After this podcast is done with Sir Kenas, I'll record a 30-minute rant.
Good. What's this about? I haven't read it. I really.
Okay, I'll link it to you. I'll link it to you, bro. I'll link it to you. But like, the reason I'm bringing this up is because like, the thing with Substack is that Substack is now filled with, and they're a minority, but they exist. It's like, Substack is filled with a bunch of these goyim who are just like, they've completely shut themselves out. So what they're doing is they're not even caring about what Trump's doing in Venezuela or Greenland. Like a couple of them are like, oh yeah, Pax Americana, America will become an empire again once Greenland is out. All the bullshit, like fake and gay goyim bullshit, right? But like many of them, they've just like gone off the reservation. Now they're just like, yeah, this waifu robot, AI generated goonbot known as Amelia. Yeah, man, here's the archetypical, psychological, blah, 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 5,000 word. And now it's not like this is fucking irrelevant, man.
What the fuck is that shit? I mean, I've seen it all around, but I don't know if they appropriated like a leftist thing, or is it like right-wingers now, like...
Basically what they're trying to do is, like Pepe the Frog? Like Pepe the Frog, that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what they're trying to do is, they're not gonna admit it, but let's just call a spade a spade. They're fucking losing, all right? Trump's imploding the economy, all the shit. So what they're doing is they're doing this psychodrama where they're like, okay, well, when were we winning? When were we doing amazing? 2015, 2016, 2017. What were we doing back then? Oh, Pepe the Frog memes. So now they're trying to generate this like thing. And it's like a purple-haired girl.
Yeah, I know.
She says She says stuff about.
But I don't know.
No, what I'm saying is,
like
yeah, well,
UK government do it and then they appropriated it, or where the fuck does it come from?
No. She's like AI generated bot.
Oh, okay.
Of like, purple haired and I hate Muslims and we gotta remigrate and Britain for British people. It's all rubbish, right? Like,
yeah,
they talk about this crap. It's completely empty because like they talk about this crap. They spend 18 hours online Meanwhile, in the real world, Muslims are building mosques in London and Hindus are building temples. Who the fuck's gonna win, man? It's just basic, like, okay, one guy is consuming drugs in the digital world, peddled to them by Indian and Nigerian, like, night shift workers from, like, fucking Lagos, New Delhi, Dhaka, whatever the fuck, Bangladesh, right? One guy's doing that, like, consuming the drugs, like the Qing dynasty fucking junkies. And the other group of people, brown, black, whatever you want to call them, they're busy working in the fields. They're busy building stuff. They're busy building mosques and stuff, taking care of family, having families, etc., etc. Who's gonna win, man? Who's gonna win?
This,
right?
This Godin disease is not even funny anymore. It's becoming very sad. This.
I find it hilarious. I find it hilarious. Yeah. I just laugh at them.
But
I laugh at them because like Darwin is having a field day, man. Like, they're just getting culled. They're absolutely getting culled. Their gene pool is dead. And the thing is, it's all by choice. All of it is by choice. They decide to get, like, addicted to this stuff, and that's what's gonna happen to them, man. Like, if they wanna, like, in the year 2026, if you wanna defend Trump and his bullshit, honestly, man, I say go for it. I don't even care at this point. I'm like, fucking go for it. Defend Trump and his bullshit. Defend Greenland. Defend Venezuela. Defend this Minnesota bullshit. Keep doing it, man. Keep doing it.
Yeah, no, they're fucked. They're completely fucked, man.
Absolutely fucked, man. Absolutely fucked. Right?
Yeah,
and
it shows.
This is just gonna keep happening.
It's even they're even getting called out by their own side. I mean, they're losing like at first they were losing linearly, and now they are losing exponentially. It's really off the charts. The Fell for It Again awards are just yeah, it's all breaking down, man.
Honestly, bro. People are gonna hate me for saying this, but this was always gonna be the outcome.
Yeah,
because if you only care about like psychodrama, abstract shit like culture wars or whatever the fuck, eventually you are gonna go back to this stuff, man. Which is what they're doing right now. They're going back to their original homeland, which is like the digital cyberspace world, and they don't belong in the real world, man. They're just fucking useless. They can't do anything in the real world. That's the thing. So it's like, okay, so you can't do anything. Yeah, like, you can't do anything in the real world. The guy you support is literally imploding the post-World War II alliance system, which makes your country able to afford this high standard of living. And so, like, if you're fucking useless like that, then just get the fuck out of here, man.
Actually, the network itself is kind of weakening today. From different sources, I saw various comments like the smart, interesting people are kind of dropping off Twitter altogether. Like even the ecosystem where this shit grew is kind of getting pretty weak. It seems. I don't know. I always look at the same 50 or 60 guys.
It was always,
but
but what I'm saying is, it was always going to happen this way. Because, like, if you're like a guy in Dhaka, Bangladesh, or like New Delhi, or like Mumbai, India, or whatever, and you make like 1,000 bots, you're just gonna win against this other guy who's just like a quote unquote real person. And like what did Sir Kenas say? Sir Kenas said it best. He's like, the Indians and the Nigerians stole the bigot jobs from hardworking whites.
Exactly. That was literally when I found out, like, Barry Stanton, a lot of the loudest British nationalists were actually Pakistanis. It was just like, my God, you got H-1B'd out of a bigot job. I mean, that's just humiliating.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, it's a sad state of but it is funny. Yes, it is absolutely funny. But also, I don't know. I still can drop a tear.
Why are you crying for the Goyim, man? I don't understand what your fucking problem is.
I never will, but it's sad to see. I'm a pro-social person. I like to see society grow and be healthy. This is very sad to see, man. It's in that way. I mean it. I'm not genuinely sad. On the contrary, I'm having a lot of fun. This year is completely insane, you know. but I mean, it's very sad to see like millions and millions and like billions must die, man. It's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah. Oh dear. What happened to Sir Malcolm? He hasn't been. Oh, it's been like 48 hours. I think he got banned or something, maybe. Like Twitter, banned him or something. Anyways, I haven't seen his tweets in a while. It's been like a bit of a time, but all right. Let's see. Well, just because Sir Malcolm isn't here doesn't mean that I can't check out some other good sirs.
Maybe he's booked everywhere. They dropped a 2.5-hour thing with Angela Nagel and with the Rocinante podcast. It was pretty fun. They let him ramble like for quite a while. He's on his European arc. Good stuff.
European arc. He was always on his European arc.
Yeah,
he was always on his European arc.
Fucking around. Yes.
I think our show with Sir Malcolm, which is going to be February the 1st, is going to be epic because, what did I say to Sir Kenaz? Like, Sir Kenaz, we're only on day 24 of this year. How many days do we have left? We still got like fucking 341 days for Trump to fuck shit up, right? Oh my God.
This one's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just seeing what else is happening. All right. Europeans counterattack Trump with polar bears to save the nihilist penguin. Penguins don't live in the North Pole, by the way. Just so we understand.
Penguins live in the South Pole. Yeah, that's a common. You see polar bears and penguins together, it just brings out my inner geographer. No, polar bears, North Pole. Penguins.
Yeah, but that's why I'm offering as a commercial attaché for Chile. We have a lot of penguins in the south. Maybe the Americans can go on a project like this and put penguins in the North Pole, man. Like the last
Put them in Greenland
of the American Empire. Put penguins in Greenland.
Put penguins in Greenland. By God, we'll show them. Then we're going to take Antarctica.
Yeah, like they changed the name of Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, so they like to do this like kayfabe.
I don't see why. So if Trump wants Greenland, why the fuck is Antarctica off the table? Antarctica is bigger than Greenland. It's 14 million square kilometers. It's bigger than America. Why doesn't Trump just annex Antarctica?
Not bad.
14 million square kilometers. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, I don't know why they're not fucking around with Antarctica.
All I'm saying is, Donald, if you're listening, all I'm saying is there's more real estate down south. You should do it. Oh my God.
Hopefully not. Hopefully he wants to make Greenland Antarctica again or something like that.
Bro, why are you saying hopefully not? Bro, why are you saying hopefully not? No, I want him to do it, man. I want him to like absolutely like implode whatever.
I don't want this problem in my neighborhood, man. Not in my backyard.
Bro, listen. It's very simple. Trump should annex Antarctica. Spend money he doesn't have, try to send troops he doesn't have, destroy what little international credibility America has left. He should just fucking do it, man, and just end this farce, right? You should end America in the most stupid, idiotic, like, demented, mentally retarded way possible. America now owns Antarctica.
He's doing a good job at that right now, so it's you cannot criticize him for that, man. Come on.
He should go to the tip of the Antarctica Peninsula, right, which is like the northernmost point. He should just take out a piece of paper. No, listen, bro. He should take out a piece of paper. He should read out the piece of paper that I, Donald Trump, have now annexed these lands to the United States. He should do some performative theater bullshit like that, and he should ruin America's reputation globally in less than 5 minutes. He should do it, man. I think he should do it.
Oh man.
The Goyim get their Hyperborean empire or whatever the fuck. They can fap off to like their anime waifus for a few more days. Then they can talk about how America has returned the empire or whatever the fuck. And life will go on. I don't see what the problem is, bro. Oh man. Oh my god. Justine Hogg. This is essentially what China is overtaking the US across most. Okay, he's talking about AI or whatever the fuck. I don't care about that stuff. Key takeaway from this report on the Groypers. According to the study, 1/3 of Groypers aren't even white. In fact, even Candace Owens has a slightly whiter audience, and Groypers are less white than the average Trump voter. 80 to 90% of the Groypers reject the idea that you have to be white in order to be American. Nick's audience is insignificant compared to people like Tucker and Candace Owens, closer to Alex Jones' size, and even among young Trump voters, most have never watched it. Groypers are mostly male and single. This is entertainment for them versus a movement. People might not like that women can vote or that people care about their families, but as long as they do, that's what matters. If Fuentes functioned as a radicalizing agent, as many argue, you'd expect different numbers. TLDR. Fuentes lords over a racially mixed, ideologically shallow, entertainment/personality-driven audience that rejects the core premises of white nationalism and lacks the demographic or doctrinal discipline, or even the desire to advance it, treating politics as just one big in-real-life stream. Ouch! Sir Kenaz, what do you say to that?
Ouch, yeah. No, my thing is, you've got a bunch of people that were calling themselves white supremacists, very heterosexual, very white nationalists. You're being led by a gay Mexican who was dating a cat boy for a while. Now, I don't care what consenting adults do. It's like, obviously, if Nick and Catboy Kami have genuine feelings for each other, that's between them and God. But, it's kind of off-brand to call yourself a white supremacist being led by a short gay Mexican. I mean, that's all I'm saying. No racism here. It's just like, if you want to be racist, I'm fairly certain that, I'm pretty sure Candace Owens is not a racist. If she hated white people, she wouldn't have married a white guy. I'm pretty sure. But
yeah.
Also, I think there's an important takeaway here is that America, they spent 10 years trying to convince Americans that racism is a big problem.
Yeah.
That racism, that Americans, there are white supremacists just lurking in the shadows, waiting to take over and bring back slavery, bring back colored water fountains. The fact of the matter is, most Americans are really, pretty much most Americans have friends of different races.
Yeah.
Most Americans, understand, and most Americans neither hate other races nor do we worship them. I think the problem is, you'll hear the big saying every time somebody points out, there is elevated crime in the black community. There are higher crime rates. It's a real problem, but nothing ever gets done about it, largely because liberals refuse to talk about it. NAX max out. Not all X are like that. Yeah, we know that. The problem is that becomes, no X are like that. So you ignore stuff like, the Pakistani grooming gangs in England. You try to cover that up. You pretend that there aren't gangs. And again, let me be completely clear here. Most of the immigrants living in Europe are hardworking people that are not committing crimes. And I will go one step further. Most of the crimes that those criminal gangs commit are against their own ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
They make life hard. Those Pakistani gangsters are targeting Pakistani English people before they start targeting, white English, ethnic English. So, just pointing that out. When you refuse to acknowledge a situation, when you see, hundreds of people dying in big cities, hundreds of black people dying in big cities from gun violence, and you pretend, well, that means we got to get rid of the cops, or, well, this is obviously caused by white supremacy. It's like, no, it's not.
No.
The real problem here is, you hold people responsible for what they do, regardless. You hold it without thinking about things like, skin color, religious preference, ethnicity, whatever. You shot somebody, you go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I'm starting to think, the Bengalis have a point. When you let the neighborhood police the neighborhood, behavior improves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, a lot of times the criminal actually begs to be put in jail because, like, that's actually better than getting lynched to death. It's like the lesser of two evils, as some would like to say, right? So, what is this? 12 minutes ago. This page does not exist. I was gonna read it, but apparently it's gone. Anyways.
These gripers you're talking about, these guys believe in nothing, They're like every month they have a new. It's not. It's a completely meme, brain dead goy bullshit. I think Logo Daedalus said it best yesterday or something like this. Like being a dissident or dissident right or just dissident is means shilling for the government. All the rest of the people, like the majority opinion is like nobody likes the things like they are right now. So these guys are there just to shill for the GOP with some fake pretext that they change every month. It's nothing, It's just entertainment, valuetainment, politics statement. I don't know how they call it. It's bullshit.
They wanna.
That's how they call it.
Yeah. Like the only thing they care about is, okay, we're gonna explain to you why voting is based and red-pilled. Right? I mean, like, oh, the Democrats are evil and you can never vote for them, or oh, this other group is evil and you can't vote for them or whatever. But don't worry, guys, GOP based and red-pilled or whatever the fuck, right? Like, that's what it ends up being. That's what it ends up being, right? And people can see through the bullshit after a while, right? After a while, eventually it'll get there, but eventually they'll be like, there will be a portion, not all Americans, but there will be a small minority who are like, voting doesn't solve our problems, violence does, right? And, that's where you'll get like the Bangladesh situation or the Sri Lanka situation or whatever, right? It's an older population, it's going to take a bit longer, but yeah, collapse does not happen overnight. Collapse happens like gradually, bit by bit. It just compounds and what have you, right? So, no matter who you vote for, Sir Kenneth, you're always going to get George Bush the Jr.
Oh, yeah. Meow is in the hood. Invite him to speak. I have to go silent for a while because I have to eat, guys. But bring Meow.
No worries, bro.
We shall.
I think he dropped it.
We bring you on again.
I think he dropped it.
We bring you on again.
He drops. Okay, I'm gonna go silent for a while.
All right, thank you,
Alrighty.
good sir, Steve. Thank you, good sir.
Alright.
All right. We got, I don't know, 90 minutes plus. What do you think, sir? Can I have anything else we want to cover?
Time to wrap up.
All right, sounds good.
I think we've had a shorter episode, but yeah, we basically covered the idiocy of the current day.
And then when the idiocy is covered, and now you can peacefully go into the winter wonderland that approaches New Jersey, basically.
Yeah, we are if you don't see me on Telegram for the next day or two, they are talking a possibility of big blackouts. I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Oh, lovely! Yeah, you'll get the full Bangladesh experience.
I'll get the full Bangladesh experience. Now all I need is some fish curry.
God. Oh my God! Holy shit! You guys are gonna get 10 centimeters of snow. Oh, that's fucked. Holy shit!
No, we're talking more about like 15, somewhere between 15 and 45 centimeters.
Oh fuck yeah! That's gross. That's gross.
I mean,
yeah, man.
The thing we want to watch out for is we're also looking at a potential ice storm. I mean, you may have seen one of those when you were in Canada. Basically, what happens is you get freezing rain that lands and becomes
black ice, basically, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty shit.
And New Scotland Tony is here. Hey, New Scotland, we're having Canadian weather today, so I will be thinking of you.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Right. I mean, so let's call it quits then, I guess. 90 minutes, I think, is good, and I'll send you the recording ASAP, basically.
Great. Talk to you then. And yeah, mandatory closing. What else is there left to say? Well, dear listeners, the doom cometh. The doom cometh. Take care, everybody, and if you're in the range of the snowstorm, stay warm. We don't want you doomed to freezing.
All right.
Take care.
Talk to you later. See you.
Bye.
Your soul is mine.